Welcome back to another episode in our Parramatta Career Mode series. We're almost halfway through the regular season here in round 10 as we take on the Sydney Roosters, who are currently ranked 6th in the league at the moment. As for our position in the league, we are still sitting at 4th for a third week in a row. And as far as lineups are concerned, I've kept the same 17 that defeated the Cowboys last week, and it most likely won't change until Gutherson gets back. I'm pretty sure he's got one more game left. So until then, I'm pretty content with the team I have right now. Bevan French actually does surprisingly well for us at fullback, and the newbie Sivo on the wing has been solid for us also. First set of the game will be coming on the back of a solid set of defense as Kiri tries to poke one through on the last as it gets scooped up by Alvaro, and we'll be starting our set pretty much on our goal line here. As Michael Jennings tries to get us out of trouble, he gets pulled down just before our 10. On the second, we're out there back to French, and French off the footwork gets around one defender and he gets pulled down around our 30. On the third, we go to Dylan Brown, and Dylan Brown links up with Sivo, who gets driven backwards for a loss. On the fourth, we're going to make a play for a 40-20 as Brown gets hammered while kicking the ball, and it's going to trickle past the 20-meter line. And we nail that 40-20 thanks to a Dylan Brown kick. There's a pretty big hit on him too after he kicked the ball. As Moidora takes the first sit up, he gets driven backwards. On the first, we send it to Brown. Brown goes wide to Manu Mao, back inside for Moses. And Moses cops the same treatment as Dylan Brown, as Fergo runs it on the blind side, gets one fin going, and he's going to get pulled down 5 meters out. We've got it wide, spread to the left as we send it through the hands, and it's going to be Dylan Brown who dives for the first try of the match. Quite fitting that he's the one to score the points after getting us down the field thanks to that 40-20, as Moses converts the 4 into 6, and we take the early lead. 20 minutes in, and we're going to get pulled down on our 20 as we go short to Nathan Brown, and again it's solid defense by the Roosters as we go wide to Mao, and Mao's going to get driven backwards. On the third, we go to Moses back inside to Mani. Moses slips into dummy half. We fake left and send it to the corner from the back of the ruck. And as you can see here, we get the perfect bounce. A beautiful kick by Mitchell Moses this time, who gets us down the field. We were getting hammered in defense as we try to quickly shift it through the hands. And Fergus going to get pulled down 10 meters out from the try line. We've got Mao at first receiver, fends off one defender, and he runs through the ankle tap of another, as we score our second try of the match on the back of another 40-20. It's also easily one of my favorites I've ever kicked in the game in general. I mean, if you're playing against another person, the chances are you won't be able to pull kicks off out of dummy half because it's so easy to rush out of marker when you're playing against another person. As we creep into the 31st minute, and it's going to be Nathan Brown with an inspiring run through the middle of the ruck. On the second, we send it to Mana. Mana links up with Mao, and Mao's going to get smashed in the tackle. On the third, we get a quick play of the ball, and we send it out wide to Sivo, and Sivo's going to get double teamed just before the try line. On the fourth, a beautiful pass to Nathan Brown, who finds acres of space around the ruck, makes the dive for the try, our third of the game, as they review the grounding, and as you can see, the ball actually gets knocked loose in an Isaac Liu try-saving tackle. So, after a huge play from Isaac Liu, the Roosters have the ball.
Oh, kill him!
It's going to be Latrell Mitchell with the sidestep, and he ends up turning Bevan French, inside out. I thought French would have had the gas to run him down, but man, Latrell Mitchell is actually pretty fast in the game, It was one of those cheeky little directional changes by the AI. I was committed to running to the left to try and shut Mitchell down. Then Mitchell quickly turns in the opposite direction. It's subtle, but it is effective. And in certain one-on-one situations, the AI usually does that. And it typically works every time. I don't know why, but we're in the second half at the moment. And we're inside the final 10 minutes of the game. After a pretty lackluster second half, it's going to be the Roosters here in attack. Looking to tie things up. Third tackle. They're going to send it to Zane Tedavano. And Tedavano's going to get pulled down inside the 10. On the fourth, a quick play the ball. And Wairia tries to crash his way through the line. He gets pretty close. He stopped about half a meter out. Fifth and last, they send it to Luke Keary. Keary with the bomb. As it gets battered back by Tupou into James Tedesco's hands. And from that close to the line, the footwork's always going to be hard to stop. Tedesco scores a beautiful try in the corner, and he converts it into 6 points and ties the game up, sending it into Golden Point extra time. Golden Point extra time, we begin in possession. Inside our 40, third tackle, Alvaro finds room around the ruck. And that quickly closes as he gets pulled down just past halfway. On the fourth, we play it safe here. A bit of tactical kicking, and it's a beautiful kick by Dylan Brown as we find touch 5 meters out from their try line. So after a pretty decent set by the Roosters, on the last they find themselves on the 20, and Wairia Hargreaves is the recipient on the last. It looked like he was shaping up to take the snap too, but we were quickly in his face as Moidor through the middle makes a beautiful run downfield. Gets past our 40. First tackle, we got Brown at first receiver. You love to see it as he throws it wide to Alvaro, and he's double teamed and driven backwards in the tackle. On the second, we go to the short side. Manu Mao for beautiful pass to Takairangi, and Takairangi tries getting a miracle ball away to Fergo, and Keary's going to get driven into touch. So we get a little lucky there. Spilled ball close to the sideline. We end up driving that Rooster into touch and getting the ball back. On the fourth this time, as we send it to Moses to Mao for another big fend. On his way to the try line as he gets ankle tapped and wrapped up inside the 10. A quick play the ball to Dylan Brown, and Brown is going to seal the game for us with a drop goal from right in front. And that is going to wrap up all the action here in round 10. We defeat the Sydney Roosters 13 points to 12. It was a pretty decent game, a pretty decent start and finish. The middle was a little lackluster like I said, but we walk away with the W in the end. As always, if you want to participate in the comment section down below, vote for your 2 top performers of the match. And if you made it this far into the video, hit up that comment section with the hashtag OddSquad. And as always, slap that like button for more Rugby League Live 4 content or more content in general. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.
Blessings, never stressing, I wake